If you're a fan of the TV series South Park, you've probably been waiting with bated breath for the arrival of the brand new game based on the series, The Stick of Truth. But this isn't the first time that South Park has hit consoles, but sadly previous titles have been pretty poor, mainly because series creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker have had very little to do with them. But with this title being written and creatively driven by them, there's been high hopes that this could be the best tie-in game ever. Matt and Trey have always credited themselves as keen gamers, and with various game-themed episodes of the show coming out. But The Stick of Truth has had a rocky history, with numerous delays and even a change of publisher midway through. That's usually not a good sign, but we can happily say The Stick of Truth is one of the most hilariously offensive games we've ever played, and the gameplay more than rises to the challenge. The first thing you notice when booting the game is that it's unlike any of the other South Park games preceding it. It plays like you're watching a real episode, with all the right voices and the entire town recreated, all in its paper cutout glory. There's a real attention to detail that you never really get with any other movie or TV tie-in games. You play as a new resident to the town, who you actually get to create using a design tool. Once your character is created, you quickly get sucked into South Park's rich world and history of characters, and most noticeably, Cartman. In keeping with the show, it aims to offend as many people as possible, and the plot just gets plain stupid, but in a fun way. But stories and visuals aside, the gameplay also follows a more than familiar gameplay formula. The team behind this game also brought us Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Fallout New Vegas, so it's safe to say that the world of South Park was in very good hands. But the biggest inspiration seems to have been Paper Mario, so much so that The Stick of Truth almost just feels like Paper Mario with South Park characters. The combat is almost identical, maintaining the turn-based structure of traditional role-playing games, but including the action elements mixed in with South Park's traditional trademark style. Time and attack properly and you can add extra damage, while defending allows you to reduce the damage you take and sometimes even counter. Different kinds of ranged weapons require other inputs, as do special moves. And once you get into the gameplay, it flies by. But even so, the game comes in at 15 hours long, so it will keep you laughing for plenty of sessions. And those laugh out loud moments usually come at someone's expense. And of course, lots of dick and fart jokes. And sometimes jokes that go much, much further. And on that note, some of you may have already read that the European version has had some scenes censored. You do get a description of what's going on, with Michelangelo's David facepalming with the European flag in the background. But we feel that this is just another joke from the team, rather than a necessity to take the scenes out from the censors. Overall, if you're after a gaming experience that brings the laughs of South Park with some traditional RPG gameplay, this delivers and then some. It's hard to imagine how The Stick of Truth could have turned out any better. Obviously, if you're not a fan of the series, we can't imagine you'll get anything from the game, as it's littered with references to all the characters and events from the 17 series of the show. So if you haven't seen the show, you just won't get the game at all, and the gameplay isn't enough to make up for that. That aside though, if only all licensed games were as good as The Stick of Truth, as it manages to show everyone who's tried how it's done.